Hey everyone, it's Amber from ExpressTruckTax, and I want to welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. We will be beginning shortly, so we just want to let everybody come on in and join, and then I'll be back in just a couple of minutes to start. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar tonight. The topic of our webinar is learning about the different types of payments that you can make to the IRS for your Form 2290. And we thought that this would be a great topic to host a webinar about, because this is a lot of where our questions come from is what types of payments does the IRS accept, and why and how and when and all that good stuff. So tonight, I am going to explain to you the different types of payments that the IRS accepts and what that means when you choose that type of payment. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them in the bar, and my friend Caleb is here along with me, and he'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And then again, I always like to start out by telling you about my awesome support team, and then end with that same thought. We are here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We would love for you to come and stop by if you're in the area. And if you have further questions about IRS payments, or if you've already filed, any kind of questions at all, you can obviously stop by our office, or you can give us a call, 704-234-6005. We would love to speak with you. So let's go ahead and jump on in, and we'll get started. First of all, we want to go over who is ExpressTruckTax. And again, I think this is super important to mention every single time that I'm with you guys, just because we want to make sure that you are aware that you are filing with ExpressTruckTax, and we are the market leader, and why that's important for you. One of the things is that we have been an e-file provider since 2010. We've processed millions of forms with the IRS, and because of that, we have a lot of experience in what we do. And of course, we file the Form 2290. There are other tax forms that you can file with ExpressTruckTax, such as the 8849, but we also have products that do 1099s and W-2s and lots of different types of tax forms. So we are experienced in what we do. Secondly, the founders of ExpressTruckTax pride themselves on providing locally sourced support in both English and Spanish. And again, that is a huge asset to ExpressTruckTax. There are competitors that we have, and we are well aware of that. But one of the things that sets ExpressTruckTax apart is that we do have customer support. Phone, email, and chat in both English and Spanish. And we're here Monday through Friday. We have extended hours, 8 to 7 right now. So that's huge. And we love to be able to support our clients like that. And thirdly, we are located right here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We are real people. You're never going to call and expect to talk to an automated phone tree and have to, press 15 buttons to get to the people that you want to talk to. When you have a question, our goal is to answer the call and to be here for you right away. So that's a little bit about who we are. And now let's talk about the tax payment types. So again, with the Form 2290, you are filing for your heavy vehicle use taxes. You're filing for vehicles that weigh over 55,000 pounds, and the tax is calculated based on your first use month when you put the truck on the road and your total gross weight. That number is determined by the IRS, and then you have to pay whatever that number is. So let's just quickly go over just an overview, and then we'll go deeper into them in just a second. The first type is electronic funds withdrawal. So this means that you are going to pay your tax due with a bank account and routing number. Second, would be the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, or EFTPS for short. And this is a account that's set up with the IRS. And again, we'll go more into that in just a little bit. Third, you can pay the IRS tax due with a check or money order. And then fourth, you can also pay the IRS with a debit or credit card. And this is a rather new option, but we will go into how you would make that payment and what that means for you. So let's talk about the electronic funds withdrawal first. So this is when you are filing your 2290 and you come to the tax section of the return and you choose electronic funds withdrawal, you are going to be asked to enter your bank account and your routing number. This is secured information. And once you transmit the return to the IRS, the tax is paid automatically. So this is the only automatic way to pay the tax. Once you enter that information and you transmit the return, you will get your stamp schedule 1 back within minutes. The IRS does not wait for the tax payment to come before they issue your stamp schedule 1. You can actually get your stamp schedule 1 back automatically, but the tax is taken out of your bank account directly from the United States Treasury within 1 to 2 business days. And then again, the IRS will deduct that amount out of your bank account within 1 to 2 business days. It's not something that you have to do extra. It's you come in here, you come to ExpressTruckTax, fill in your information, and then it's an automatic process. There are no additional charges when using this payment method. So, when you're talking about mailing a check or money order, obviously you've got to pay for the stamp. When you're talking about using a credit or debit card, there are processing fees with that. But when you enter in your bank account and routing number, there are no additional fees. And so obviously that is a plus for you. One thing is that when the IRS tries to debit your account, you want to make sure that the full tax amount is in there. So if your tax amount is $550, but your bank account only has, $500 that day, they're only going to try once to debit your account. If they cannot debit the full tax amount, you're going to get a letter of non-payment. And so they're going to send you a letter. They're going to say, hey, we weren't able to get our tax money. And so now you need to pay us by either check or money order or credit or debit card. If that happens, you need to follow the instructions on the letter that you received. The other thing that can happen, and you want to make super sure of, is that when you are entering the information into our system, you want to make sure that you're entering in the account number correctly. If there's 1 digit missing, if 2 digits are transposed, we don't know your bank account number. We can't know your bank account number. So you want to make sure that you're entering that incorrectly. If even one number is missing or messed up, transposed, whatever, the IRS isn't going to be able to debit the account. And so again, you would receive that non-payment letter and you would need to follow the directions on the letter at that point. There are several other ways that you can pay. So if you enter in your bank account information and you get that letter, it's going to tell you what you need to do and by when you need to do that. So this is electronic funds withdrawal, or EFW. When you are filing on ExpressTruckTax, no matter what option you choose, there will be an additional checkbox. So if you choose EFW, it's going to ask you to enter your routing and your account number. And then you're going to check a box that says, I authorize the IRS to withdraw the tax payment from my account. And you have to check that box, acknowledging that you are giving permission to the United States Treasury to deduct that tax amount. Next, we're going to talk about the EFTPS. Now, this is an account that is set up with the IRS. So when you are filing with ExpressTruckTax, you're going to kind of think about it in 2 steps. So you're filing the Form 2290. The first step is actually filing the Form 2290 with the IRS, and that's what ExpressTruckTax does. The second part of filing your return is actually paying the tax. So if you use EFW, again, you're just going to put in that information and it's automatically going to be done. That is the only automatic way to actually pay your tax due. If you choose EFTPS, check or money order, or credit or debit card, you've got to do another step. So if you have an EFTPS account set up with the IRS, you would need to log into that account and move the funds from your EFTPS account to pay for the tax due, whatever the tax amount is. One of the things with EFTPS that you want to make sure of is that they are very, very strict on the funds have to be moved or scheduled before 8 p.m. Eastern, the day before the due date. So in this case, you would need to move them the day before August 31st. So by 8 p.m. on August 30th, you have to go in there and schedule that payment. If you go in there after that, it's going to be considered late. So you want to make sure that you're following that. If you do not have an EFTPS account, you can set one up directly through EFTPS.gov. However, it does take about 15 business days for the account to become active. So if you do not currently have an EFTPS account, you don't want to go selecting EFTPS when you're filing on August 28th and expect to have it up and running before August 31st. It's not going to work that way. You want to make sure that you already have it up and running. And then once you get it up and going, you can deposit, all throughout the year. And then of course, just go move the tax due again, at least the day before the deadline. All right, next we are going to talk about the check or money order option. So this is a great option, especially for people who are filing at the, maybe you're filing in July and you really don't want to mail that payment until you absolutely have to. And that's perfectly okay. The IRS says that they have to receive payment by August 31st. If you are mailing a check or money order, that means that check or money order has to be postmarked by August 31st to be considered on time. So you can file your 2290 with ExpressTruckTax on July 1st. And if you choose check or money order, you're going to get your stamp Schedule 1 back right away. Again, if you're leased with a company, they're going to get a copy of your stamp Schedule 1. So they're not going to keep asking you about it for 2 months. And then you're just required to mail a check or money order to the IRS by August 31st. When you choose the check or money order option, you will get what's called a 2290V as in Victor, or it's also called a payment voucher. And the payment voucher has all of the instructions that you need to mail your payment. So it has who you need to mail it to, where you need to mail it, who you need to make the check out to, and how much. And then at the very bottom of that payment voucher is going to be a detachable portion. So you can print this off and, cut it or tear it, whatever you need to do, but include that with your check or money order. And that payment part of it, the portion down there, has your EIN, has your business name. And so the IRS, when they get that check, they know whose account to apply that check to. You'll also need a printer. So when you get the 2290 voucher, the 2290V, it's going to come to your email, and you'll just be able to print it out. Obviously, you're going to need a printer to do that, but I don't know that that's a huge problem these days. I feel like everybody has a printer, but you'll need to print out the voucher so that you can attach it with your check. And then obviously you'll need to have a check or money order. And you could also do, like a certified check or something like that. A lot of people feel more comfortable doing a certified check as long as it's made to the correct people. You make it to the United States Treasury, you mail it to the correct place, you should be good to go. There's no additional charges. Again, when you are when you're mailing that form, when you're mailing in your check, you've got to pay for postage. So from our side, we're not going to charge you to email you the payment voucher and all that good stuff. You will automatically get that in your email, but you've got to pay for that stamp. And if you're able to put in your bank account information and not have to pay for a stamp, then that's great. You will have to pay for a stamp. you also have to take time to actually print out your voucher and, make your check or money order, and then take it to the post office. So there are some, I don't know if I would say setbacks, but you've got to do a couple extra steps here. Obviously, one of the greatest benefits is being able to file early and get your stamp schedule 1 and not have to mail that payment in until, the end of August. That's a huge benefit for the check or money order. So those are some benefits for the check or money order. You get to file now, pay later. You'll hear us say that a lot because we want to encourage all of our clients to file in July. And then you have all the way until the end of August to mail that payment. Check or money order. All right. And then lastly, we are going to talk about the credit or debit card payment. Like I mentioned before, this is a newer option and something that we get a lot of questions on. And so I will camp out here for a minute. Again, you are able to file your 2290 when you choose to pay with a credit or debit card. You're still going to get your stamp schedule 1 back right away. The IRS does not wait for payment on any of these. It doesn't matter which method of payment you choose, you're going to get your stamp schedule 1 back right away. With the debit or credit card payment, again, you can wait all the way up until the deadline to make that payment. My suggestion would be, make it a couple of days ahead of time. That way, if something does happen with the payment, you're able to submit another payment before the deadline. But again, you have all the way up until August 31st to make that credit card payment. After you file the 2290, you do have to go to a separate site. And this is what we're hearing a lot. These are a lot of the questions, is that when you file your 2290 on ExpressTruckTax, you do enter a credit card, and right under where you're entering that credit card on our website, it says this is for the ExpressTruckTax filing fee only. So when you enter the credit card on ExpressTruckTax.com, you are only paying for the filing. You are not paying for the IRS tax. Once you transmit your return, if you choose credit or debit card, there should be a big, huge pop-up that says you chose credit or debit card, go make the payment here. And it's going to take you to irs.gov/payments. And that is where you have to make your payment. So the IRS has authorized these 3 companies to take credit or debit card payments. You can choose whichever one that you want to go with. We're not going to tell you which one to choose. We're not going to endorse one over the other. They're all 3 listed there. You choose whichever one that you feel comfortable going with. And once you choose that company, it's going to take you to their website, and then you enter in the information that you need to enter. It is a business tax. It is a federal tax. That's one of the questions we get a lot. Well, I'm on the website and I, went under personal and I don't see Form 2290. It is, you have to choose business, and it's also a federal tax. And then you have to choose the Form 2290. You want to make certain that you're paying for the correct tax year. So make sure that it says current year 2021 and 2021, not 2020-21. So just make sure you're paying for the correct tax year there. And then it's going to ask you some identifying questions, and it's going to ask you how much tax you owe. And on your ExpressTruckTax account, it'll show you total tax due $550, $412.50, $1,100, whatever your tax is. You'll enter that amount over on that other website to pay the tax. Once you go through the process and you complete it, you will get a confirmation number. Keep that, and so that you have proof that you did make payment. So again, this is a separate process. You have to pay for the filing fee on ExpressTruckTax, but when you enter the credit card on ExpressTruckTax.com, you are not paying for the filing fee and the tax. You are only paying for the filing fee. And then you have to go to irs.gov/payments to actually make your tax payment. And then once you are on irs.gov/payments, you will see the 3 companies listed there. There are processing fees that is associated with using a credit or debit card. And so they are all listed there. Again, you can make that decision for yourself on who you're going to go with. If you did choose credit or debit card and you get to this point and you're like, I really don't want to pay a processing fee, you could mail a check or money order. You're not going to get in trouble for switching how you make the payment. The IRS doesn't care how you pay. They just want the payment. And so if you did choose credit or debit card, you could still mail a check or money order. However, you can't go back and use your bank account because the bank account is entered at the time of filing. So, there's a couple caveats there, but you're not going to get penalized if you want to mail a check or money order as opposed to paying with a credit or debit card. So that is all about the credit or debit card payment. And one of the things that, of course, we get this question a lot is, why should I use ExpressTruckTax and what sets you guys apart? Another reason why you would choose to use ExpressTruckTax is we have been the market leader in the IRS authorized Form 2290 for over 11 years. And so again, there are other people out there who file the Form 2290. They have not been doing it for 11 years. They are not based in the United States. And you want to make sure that your federal tax information is safe and that if you have questions, you can call a phone number and you can get through to an actual live human to ask questions and to get help. And that is super important when you're talking about any of your truck registrations, specifically the Form 2290. And then we are consistently working on streamlining the process, making it easier, making it more simple. Last week, I did a webinar on how easy the filing process is. And if you are a returning client, I showed you our ready return feature. So when you sign into your account, your return is ready. It's sitting there. All you've got to do is verify your information, make sure it's all still correct. If you need to edit it, you can certainly do that. If everything is still the same, you're done. You transmit it to the IRS and you're done. So we are consistently streamlining and making our process better for tax professionals, service providers, and business owners. For everybody, we always want to make sure that we are always making it easier and better for you. So those are a couple of the reasons why you should choose to use ExpressTruckTax. And if you're not already using ExpressTruckTax, you should be. And, obviously we have great features. We have prepaid credits. We have options to mail your stamp Schedule 1. We have a printer that's calibrated so that watermark comes out nice and dark. And so we offer for you to get that by postal mail. And we also offer fax options. We also offer text notifications. And, these are all just convenience factors. And we know that you guys are out on the road. You're busy. You don't want to be sitting here filing your 2290 all day long. That's why we've made it the super simple, easy process. But we've also added these add-on features here so that you can have a stamp Schedule 1 mailed to you. You want to make sure that you have one in the cab of your truck. If you get pulled over by DOT, if they want to see a copy of it, you're able to pull it out. It's nice and crisp and you've got it. And then we also offer, again, fax and text notifications as well. For CPAs and service providers, we offer prepaid credits. And again, that's just a way that you can purchase a bulk number of credits and not have to, you basically get to skip the Our Fees page. You get to skip the checkout process. And so every time you just use a credit. And so that is something that's helpful as well. And then, of course, our 100% US-based live support. Again, I mentioned this at the beginning, and I just think it's so important because we are here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We do appreciate our clients so much, and we love talking to you on the phone, email, chat, however we can help. That's where we want to be. And so we have support in both English and Spanish. And again, we have a lot of Spanish clients who choose to use ExpressTruckTax because of that support and because of that support system that they get. And they know that when they call, they can speak to somebody in their language and and get the answers that they need. So again, that is super, super important to us here at ExpressTruckTax. All right. I don't know if you feel like you just drank from a water hose, but I hope that that was able to clear up a couple of questions that you might have regarding IRS tax payments. But I want to open it up for a question and answer time here. And so again, if you do have additional questions, please feel free to use the chat section of your screen, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you as well. I do have a question here. Am I still able to pay the tax via e-check? So I guess my question to you would be, have you already filed the 2290 for the tax year that you're asking about? Has the return already been transmitted to the IRS? And was the account and routing number submitted at the time that you submitted that? Okay, if you have not filed yet, then Jamisha, if you have not filed, then no, it's not too late. When you are filing and you come to the IRS tax payment screen, you want to choose EFW and enter in your account and routing number. And then when you submit it, you would use that section. Yep. And if you did it last year, and I'm not sure if you used ExpressTruckTax last year, but if you entered that information last year and it's still the same account number, you can just copy that return and transmit it this year, and it would come out just like it did last year. If it is a different account number, you would want to edit that before you submit it. Next, I have a question from Dana, and she says, it seems like the best way is via EFW. It makes it streamlined. It certainly does. EFW allows you to just enter in your bank account and routing number, and then you're done. You don't have to do a second step. Any of the other methods, EFTPS, check or money order, or credit or debit card, you have to go do something else. With electronic funds withdrawal, you don't. You enter in your information, you transmit your return, and with 1 to 2 business days, it's automatically debited by the IRS. Any other question? Yeah, I have another question here. When is my payment due? So this is a good question because again, this is confusing. You guys file this one time a year, and you forget from year to year, and I certainly get that. The 2290, the period opens July 1st of every single year, and so the current 2290 expires June 30th at midnight, and then the new tax period opens July 1st. And the IRS says that you need to file in July, and then you have until August 31st to make that payment. So the payment is due by August 31st. Now, they give you a grace period of filing anytime between July 1st and August 31st. We have hundreds of thousands of clients that file their 2290 with us each and every year. Our goal is for you to file as early as possible. Again, using check or money order, credit or debit card, you can file July 1st and not make your payment until August 30th, if that's what you choose to do. But we want to make sure that you get in on time and that you file and you get your stamp schedule 1 as early as possible. We send out lots of reminders and lots of calls and lots of just reminders. We send out calls, text, emails, because we want to make sure that you come back to expresstrucktax.com and that you're only paying $9.90. And some of you guys, if you're leased on with a company and have a better deal, maybe $8.91, $8.90, who knows? But we want to make sure that you're only paying $9.90 for a single truck and you're not paying $45 a truck. So we want to make sure that you're coming back to ExpressTruckTax year after year. I've got a couple more questions here, and if you guys have any more questions, make sure to type them here. How can I find out how much the tax will be before you owe? So I'm sorry, before you file, how much tax you owe before you file. This question, so we actually have a tax calculator. Again, it's based on your first used month and your gross weight. But maybe you just got into trucking and you don't know what it is yet. We have a tax calculator on ExpressTruckTax, so you can actually go there. You can enter in your first used month, enter in your gross weight, enter how many taxable, how many vehicles you have, and it's going to tell you what that is. And that'll just help you to prepare year after year. If you are adding trucks to your fleet based on the gross weight, you're going to want to know, how much am I going to owe next July when it comes time to file? And so that's going to be a super helpful tool for you to use. And then lastly, what happens if I forget to pay my tax? So there are IRS penalties that happen that will be occurred if you do not pay on time. So there's two different types of penalties. Number one, there's a penalty to failure to file and failure to pay. And that's at about 5% of the tax due month over month for 5 months. So again, you're already paying the IRS $550. There's really not a reason to pay them more for a penalty. So if you don't file, don't pay, there is a failure to file, failure to pay at a 5% penalty. If you file the 2290 and you just don't pay, that goes back down to about a 0.5% month over month. So you definitely want to file. Even if you're like, I don't have $550 right now, you still want to file because your penalty is going to be less than if you don't file at all and don't pay at all. So if you cannot pay, still file the 2290, and then you will just get a failure to pay penalty, and that's only a 0.5%. So it drops down drastically. But either way, you don't want to get those penalties. And so I always like to tell everybody to just plan. Every July you've got to file the 2290, and it's typically $550 per vehicle if you have an over 75,000 pound vehicle. So plan ahead of time, save up that money so that you know it's coming every year. But you want to make sure to file on time, even if you can't make that payment on time. So that is a really great question. All right. Any other questions? I don't see anything else that has popped up. Suspended vehicle. What about a suspended vehicle? There's no tax due on a suspended vehicle. I'll tell you that much. Oh, can you talk? You sure can. Hold on 1 second and let me unmute you. Hold on.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, thank you. I just felt like I was typing. I would type a lot to explain what I'm going to say.
It's okay.
So I'm looking at the suspended vehicles area. I do use ExpressTruckTax, but I've just used it once. So okay. It says that any vehicle used on public highways that do not exceed 5,000 miles during the tax period. I don't understand what am I looking for? What tax period exactly? Because I'm
good question.
For 2021 to 2022, are you saying the previous period that didn't go past 5,000?
No, it would be for this. That's a really great question. It would be for this year. So the tax period would be July 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2022. Are the vehicles going to go over 5,000 miles in that tax period, that tax year?
So if I say, okay, so I got that. So now if I claim that, no, they're not going to go, it's not going to go over 5,000, but then I end up going over that. Now, do I just file the tax reform and pay the tax now? File it again or amend it? How do I?
Yep. So there's a 2290 amendment called mileage exceeded. And so you can file this on ExpressTruckTax. When you click start new return, it's down under the 2290 amendments, and it's called mileage exceeded. And so if you file suspended And then, let's say in December, you're like, oh gosh, I am going to go over 5,000. You would file that amendment. And basically it tells the IRS that I filed originally as suspended, but I'm going over that 5,000 miles. And so I need that Schedule 1 will come back with an actual weight category. When you file suspended, the weight category is going to show as a category W, and that allows the DMV or your company to know that you file suspended. When you file that weight amendment, it would come back with an actual category, a weight category A through V as in Victor.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for using ExpressTruckTax. We appreciate you. All right, awesome. All right, well, that concludes our webinar for tonight. I did want to mention to you that we are going to be hosting another webinar next week, and there's lots of opportunities to connect with us. And again, that's one of the things that sets us apart. We are going to be discussing, I have my friend Gavin who works over in PayWow, and PayWow is our payroll product, and we have created PayWow specifically for the trucking industry. So he is going to be doing a webinar next Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and going to be showing you all about the payroll section, the trucking section of paywow.com. And so we would love for you to join and just learn a little bit more about PayWow and how that can help you in your business, whether you're a driver for yourself or whether you have a fleet of trucks and you're paying drivers. Want to make sure that you're doing that correctly and that you're filing your taxes and all that good stuff correctly. So be sure to come back and register. We will post the registration link for that webinar in the chat. And then also we'll be sending out emails and reminders and all that good stuff too. So make sure to register for that webinar. And thank you so much. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your questions. If you have further questions, do not hesitate to reach out. We are here. We've extended our hours this month and next month. So until August 31st, we are working 8 to 7 Eastern. And again, we have phone support, email support, and we have live chat. And so if you're not able to reach us on phone, we have very high call volumes. Send us an email. Go on ExpressTruckTax and click that live chat button. We are here. And if you leave us a voicemail, or if we see we missed a call, we are going to return that phone call to you as well. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate you all. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out, and I will see you all soon.